Hey everyone, thanks for coming. We're just going to wait a few more minutes for more people to jump on board. Get things straightened out on the technical end. If you guys could type in the chat that you can hear me, that would be great. Hey guys, just wondering if you can type in that you can. Perfect. Thanks, Joanne. Everyone else is good? Hey, John. You see my dogs in the background? I've got my trusty daughter here helping me with the technology part here. So hopefully when we get into the, thanks, Leo. Hi. When we get into this, everything will flow smoothly. So I just want to give it another few minutes because we had a number of people sign up, but I know people do want the recording. So we'll give it a few more minutes and then, hey, Maria, you can hear me? Perfect. Okay, everyone's coming in. Excellent. So just a quick little hi, if you can hear me. I just want to make sure all the technology part is working. People ask me if I get nervous about doing this. The only part that makes me nervous is the technology. Leo, thanks. Okay, we're going to give it to 11:05 for people to jump on, and then we'll start moving. Lot to cover, and I just want to make sure that we get through it all without, taking up too much of your time. I am going to ask a few questions at the end, and there'll be a follow-up email sent out with the link to this webinar. One of the things I want you to sort of think about, I've been asked to do presentations and things like this and a series. So I am going to be doing a number of different things throughout the year. Timing is always different for everybody. So I want to get a good consensus as to if this is a good time, because right now what I've done is I've just used sort of some analytics. So if this is a good time, maybe reply at the end that you've liked the time, or if there's another time that might be better. I mean, I'm not going to make everybody 100% happy, but we'll do the best we can. Okay, so here's the part that I want to go to now. So Maddie, you can leave when this is done. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen here and make sure that this part is done, because once this is done, we are golden. Okay, here we go. And okay, so that didn't work. So let me try that again. Share. How's that? Oh, we're working. Okay, perfect. All right, Maddie, your job here is done. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so I will be saving you some time, or saving some time at the end for questions. It's kind of hard for me to go in and out of the screen to answer them, so you can type them in the chat and then I'll answer them after. And again, if there's a time restraint, feel free to email me. So 2021 is, we've had a rough 2020, and I wanted to start off this year with giving you a crash course in how to map out a life of great health. So just to go forward into this, I am, for those who are new, for those who don't know me, my name is Cathy Biase. I am a certified holistic nutritionist, and I am a cancer coach. So what's the link between mapping out a life of great health and my specialty in working with cancer care is that health, good health, is the basis of preventing disease. And that can be heart disease, autoimmune disease, and where my specialty lies, obviously, good health is the best weapon for preventing cancer. So I want to start here because, as I said, we've had a rough year. People have been inside a lot. And what I want to do is give you an overview. So this is it's a crash course in mapping out a life of good health. And I can pull out any one of these subject matters and do a whole webinar on it. But I want to give you the sort of the starting pieces that you can move forward with, that you can ask questions about, because honestly, I think the ability to ask great questions is where you're going to have your greatest benefit. I host a podcast and radio show called The Health Hub. And what that is, it's an extension of really my passions, but what the Health Hub is it's a coming together of some great minds. I've had scientists, authors, other nutritionists, doctors, and what they do is they open up to the people that listen different therapies, different ideas, so that you have questions that you can ask practitioners that you're working with. And when you have the right questions, then you can start seeing the answers that you need. So here's sort of my info. If you ever want to reach me, cancercanopy.com is the online part of what I do. So I've evolved my clinical practice into an online. It's kind of what's happened over the last years through COVID. And what Cancer Canopy is it's an umbrella for cancer care. And the first entry into this online practice for me is my Integrative Cancer Nutrition Method. And again, it incorporates in depth a lot of what we'll be talking about. And again, the aim of it is to help people in cancer prevention, but also working with people that are preparing for treatment and who are in active treatment. So here we go. Again, feel free to type in your questions. We'll get to them at the end. I want to start off with the number one thing we want to do. So we're all starting here from different health places. We have different things that we want to emphasize when we're getting towards our health. So we're not going to be starting at the same place. But what we do have in common here is that we all need to start setting clear goals. And when it comes to goals, we need to be very specific. So research has shown that if you write down your goals, you are far more likely to achieve them. So set out clear health goals and then lay down specific steps to getting there. And also find a yardstick on how you measure success. The goal of being healthier, it's too lofty. You need to actually drill down and break it into steps and really focus on things one step at a time. So if your goal is, to exercise more, and you're somebody who's gone, you sit a lot, as we all do, we're at the computer, and you want to start exercising more. Well, if you're coming from a place of sitting and not moving a lot, your goal, may not be to run a marathon. That might be a little bit too lofty right now, maybe in the future. But your goal may be to plan every morning before your coffee to get up and walk for a half an hour. And how do you measure the success? So you need to be able to measure success. So your measurement of success is A, are you actually doing it? B, are you walking farther at the end of a week? All of these things are small goals. And, sometimes I think we feel we've got to bite off a whole big piece of the pie, but we don't. We really don't have to. Start setting goals, write them down, journal how far you're coming. And when you've made mistakes or when you've fallen off the bandwagon, that's an opportunity for learning. And that's an opportunity to go back. Was that goal too lofty for me? Was my heart not into it? Do I need to refocus, or was it just a slip? So all of these things are important. So number one, for you to map out your life of great health is to start setting your goals. Again, writing them down is essential. Start thinking now, as we're going through this, as I'm throwing out these little tidbits of health, what is one goal that you're working towards? If you want to share that, that's great. You can share it in the chat and we'll get back to it after. But I want you to be honest and be realistic. As I said, we're all starting from different places. We all have different lifestyles, and the journey, the path may be different, but some of the steps are going to be similar. Okay, so we're going to start with my area of expertise, which is sort of the nutrition piece of it. And again, any of these things we can talk about, in length, but portion control is got to be one of the easiest things that we can start off and fix right now, but it is something that we're not so mindful about. And one of the big, big reasons behind this epidemic of obesity is the sheer amount of food that we eat. We eat too much and we eat too often. So working on portion control can be a big, big step into many, many goals. So we're not just talking weight loss here. We're talking about, for eating all day. This messes up our circadian rhythms, which is a huge topic that I'm really passionate about. But focus on having smaller portions. If you noticed over the years, sizes at restaurants, they're getting bigger and they're bigger and they're bigger. And we have got to the point where we're so used to eating that we don't know when to shut it off. So one of the biggest tips that I have for you to do this is to use smaller plates. So if we're used to a 10-inch, 12-inch plate, bring it down a lot. That the whole visual of having a full plate seems to be something that we all want. So if you have a smaller plate, then you're going to necessarily put less on it. Psychologically, it really works. And the next time you serve yourself a bowl, you have a bag of chips or something like that. I know this isn't, what you might want to hear is the healthiest thing, but let's face it, we're all there. We all have some of the days when, especially these days, when we just want something that is just quick and easy. Take things out of their packaging and put them into a bowl. It really does help you to control portion sizes. And it may seem like a very small thing, but I think once we start talking, once we get into this, you're going to see that it's the smaller pieces of what you do that really influence your overall health. And that's why, going back to the goal setting, you don't need to set these huge goals. Do it one small step at a time. And once you start building on these things, once your body starts to react to how you're changing its health, it will crave more and more of the good things that you're doing. Another piece I wanted to add onto here, and I tend to talk about this so much, and anybody that I've worked with that's listening, is chewing your food. And again, I've got a whole webinar that I think I'm going to bring forward on this, on the benefits of chewing food. We attend 1, 2, and swallow with water. This is how we eat. The more times you chew your food, the more chews per bite, the more you slow down your pace of eating. This really does so many different things, but it reduces the amount you eat. With that, it starts the saliva production, which has a whole host of benefits that are important. And it also takes the the stress, downstream. So chewing your food is, yes, for making it into smaller pieces, but it has so many other things, especially hormonal things and connection with the brain. So if one of your goals is weight loss, this is a very simple thing that you can incorporate right now, is just chewing your food until it's almost in a liquid state. Really, really beneficial for so many things. And as I said, I've done a webinar on chewing, and honestly, it was about an hour long. So many benefits of chewing your food. So portion control. So these things that we're talking about right now, doable right now. As soon as the webinar is over, move on and start with these things. And again, I want to keep reminding you and go back to, we're talking about overall health and systemic health. So we're not focusing on particular areas. We're not focusing on one organ or one system. We're focusing on systemic health. And the overriding idea of all of this is to bring down inflammation. Inflammation is the root of so many diseases. I can't say every disease because nobody can say every disease, but inflammation and bringing it down is very, very important. And one key way to do that is through exercise. So exercise crosses the boundary of being both amazing for physical health, but also very, very important for mental health. From weight management to gut health and improving hormones, there are just so many studies out there on the benefits of exercising. Now, again, if you're setting some exercise goals, be realistic. One of the key things that I think we miss a lot of times is that we have these ideas that we have to be running marathons or we have to be lifting huge weights. Start small. And instead of doing things that are what you think you should, do things that you love. If you don't like to lift weights, don't lift weights. Figure out other ways to make the bones healthier by doing some body stuff, body weight stuff, going upstairs, stomping up the stairs. Things as small, again, small steps to start off with. Put your car in the back of the parking lot and walk farther to the store when they're open. Do all these small things that can just help. Instead of taking the elevator, escalator, walk some flights of stairs. Insulin resistance is another piece of obesity. It's another piece of health that is becoming more and more prevalent. And exercise can go a long way to improving insulin resistance, to having more sensitivity to insulin. And again, all of these things go into promoting better health. When I got sick, most of you know that I had breast cancer. At the time, 10 years ago, they were saying, stay quiet, don't stress your body too much, it's inflammatory. Well, in effect, it is inflammatory, but it's a healthy inflammatory. And when you exercise, what you're doing is you're breaking microfibers in your muscles, and when they're repairing, they're becoming much stronger. So exercise is key. And now exercise is recommended by most oncologists and most physicians when it comes to overall health. So 10 years ago, it was stay quiet, to do, I continued because I felt better. But, and now it's a part of the prescription. So just get moving, just start moving and try and incorporate it into your day, every day. The more you start moving, the more your body is going to want to move. So allow yourself the space to grow with your movement. Again, be forgiving to yourself if you're starting off here. And again, back to the mental health piece of this, we're all suffering to some degree over this last year. Trying to get out and exercise, going to a gym has been difficult, but you don't have to get to a gym. There are so many online things, yoga, all the way up to high intensity interval training. So many things you can do. So start getting into this habit. Be prepared. So meal prep. Meal prep is something that I'm slowly, truth be told, I'm slowly trying to work it into what I do. I have a habit often of leaving dinner till the last minute. So this is my work in progress, is doing some meal prepping, but many benefits to it. It's a time saver, it's a money saver, it alleviates this last minute, what am I going to eat idea. And, when you set a time, say a Sunday afternoon, when you set time aside to meal prep, you're making it part of the whole process. You're working in nutrition. Get your recipes ahead of time, do your shopping, do your meal prep, and have the week sort of set out ahead for you. Little tips if you don't want to go into full-blown Sunday planning for the rest of the week. If you have kids that, are difficult to cook for, and you're doing 2 or 3 meals, then this can be a little bit of a challenge for you. But here are some small steps that you can start in the meal prep idea. Make enough dinner so that you can have it for breakfast or lunch. That's an easy one to do. When you do your shopping, prep your veggies for the most part. Cut the carrots, cut the celery, put them in water, and they're more accessible, and we eat them if they're prepared for you, right? If they're there. So prepare them, put them in the fridge, have them ready as a go-to snack. And if you're a smoothie person, and smoothies don't have to be just in the morning, so if you're a smoothie person, what you can do is group together all the solid ingredients and put them into the freezer. So if you're a nut smoothie person, the nut butter, so maybe date, banana, cacao, peanut butter, banana, throw all those pieces into a bag, throw them in the freezer, 1 portion servings. All your seeds, they can go in there too. Plop them into your blender and with your liquid, and you're good to go. So simple ways to start the meal prepping. There are dozens of blogs out there, dozens of meal prep sites. So, pick your favorite, pick what you want to eat, and have at it. So it would be great to know if any of you have meal prepped before, and if you've had some successes, some failures. Again, we're not aiming for perfection here. That's just not something that we'll want to do here. We're just aiming to have more and more good things happen to us every day. Okay, eating fruits and vegetables. You knew this was coming up at some point, right? Incorporating more fruits and vegetables into your diet is something that we could all benefit for. It's, if you're a person who's buying organic, they can go bad very quickly, so you've got to eat them up. But studies have shown, and the research is there, and it's undeniable, the importance of eating fruits and vegetables and incorporating them. About 80% of your diet should be about fruits and vegetables and grains and seeds. A plant-based diet is the way to go. That doesn't mean you need to be a vegetarian, but what it means is that you need to have a lot more fruits and vegetables in. We need the fiber. The fiber is important for elimination, detoxification, and the fiber is essential for gut health. So helping to incorporate these things into your diet. It's great to try new things. I love having people try new things in their diet. It's great to introduce new things into the body, new nutrients and so forth. But here are some tips. As soon as you get home from the store, wash them, store them, steam them. If broccoli happens to be on sale, steam it, throw them into the freezer. They're ready for you. Again, this is a part and parcel of meal prep. Shop seasonally. We here in Canada, most of us are from Canada here. We have 4 seasons. We have more of the root vegetables in the fall and winter, and our bodies are used to that. So our bodies are used to seasonal eating. In the spring and summer, more light salads and fresh fruits and things like that. This is how our body is made up. So eat seasonally, shop locally, use your fruits as desserts. So many ways. You can dip strawberries into a good dark chocolate, wonderful dessert for you. And there's nothing wrong with getting pre-sliced things like pre-sliced pineapple. I can't tell you the number of times that I've, very good intentions of having a pineapple and cutting it up, and it sat there whole, straight from Hawaii. I've never used the thing. So I tend to buy my pineapple all cut up so that I can just dip into it. But there's so many things out there now. You can even get zucchini noodles all prepared for you. So, don't worry about that. Just start incorporating fruits and vegetables into your diet. Frozen fruits and vegetables, all great. All right, I am covering these next two topics because I do have faith in our future. So this first one is eating out. We will be eating out again. And I think that when we have this ability to eat out again, we'll probably be eating out a lot at the very beginning. But when you're on a path to try and eat better, we don't want to derail you. You don't want to derail yourself by going out to eat. So just a few tips here. You want to keep balance. So balance is an important thing, okay? Again, we're not aiming for perfection, we're aiming for balance. So choose restaurants that aren't going to tempt you to eat foods that you are really trying to avoid. So if you are trying to incorporate more fruits and vegetables into your diet, a sports bar, may not be the place you want to go. If you're going out with friends, maybe look at the menu ahead of time. If they're really good friends and it's a restaurant you don't want to go to, maybe suggest another one. Or if you can't get out of it and you know that you're going to be tempted, eat something ahead of time. A small amount of something. I'll eat an apple. I just find that will fill me up a bit more. So I'll eat an apple if I think that I'm going to be tempted and I really don't want to, derail what I've been doing. Be careful of the seasonings, be careful of the salad dressings, get them on the side. We're going to get to it here in a minute. Salad dressings and ketchups are just a plethora of sugar for the most part. So, and you can even pack your own seasonings, make your own seasoning salts. I had a client I work with, she prepared her own seasoning salts. She took them with her, no problem at all. So just a little bit of, a preamble to hopefully when we'll be going out very shortly to eat. Next is traveling. So again, looking to the future, gives you lots of time to plan though. When we are on vacation, we want to enjoy it. You don't want to go on vacation with the idea that you're tied to something extremely restrictive. Playing back into the mental health piece and something we'll be bringing up here a little bit, vacation is a break. It's you want to go away and you don't want to think. But you want to have things sort of laid down and ideas going toward your vacation destinations, going towards the restaurants you're choosing, just so that you don't have to go back and start off at square one. So balance is here. If you're going to enjoy some poolside cocktails, make sure you're hydrating, balance that off. Liquor and alcohol can be very dehydrating, so make sure you balance it off. If you are partaking in, very rich meals that you're not used to, just try and incorporate a healthy meal in there every day. Try and get some snacks, try and get some fruits and vegetables into the day. And make a point to get up and walk around, join a yoga class, something like that to keep your body moving. So once you start this idea of health, you will naturally look for ideas and things to keep yourself going when you're away. I always take supplements with me. Everyone has, any practitioner that you go to will have their own favorites. And again, the supplements you take away can be very individualized because when you go away, you can have certain problems. Your spouse may not have them. I tend to always take liquid chlorophyll with me because I get bunged up no matter where I go. I do have a problem with bowel movements for the first few days, and by happenstance, I was in a gym when I was away and I found they had liquid chlorophyll and it was a godsend. So now I take liquid chlorophyll with me whenever I go away. I always take my probiotics. I take activated charcoal. So this is just in case I eat something that really upsets my stomach, or if, God forbid, there's some type of food poisoning going around. Activated charcoal can be of benefit. And I always take my digestive enzymes because I know my microbiome is going to be messed up from travel. hence why I get constipated. So I always take digestive enzymes to help me. And, you know, foods may be a bit different. So I take digestive enzymes, as I said, and I always take some deep immune before I get onto the plane, maybe while I'm on the plane. And then, you know, if I feel something coming on, I'll take it throughout the trip, usually not. But then just before I get back on the plane, I will take some deep immune again, just to boost my immune system. I don't know if any of you guys travel. If you have tips that you can give in the chat, that would be great, because again, I have lots of ideas, but I certainly don't have them all. Okay, so the rundown on alcohol. We have a lot of people have been imbibing a lot over the last little bit. And you know, it's been a tough time. Don't use alcohol as a crutch. Okay, that's number one. Alcohol as a crutch can lead to out of control things. But pulling it back a little bit, it's so easy to shoot the sugar and calories that you're trying to maintain right out of the water when you're drinking alcohol. So if you are going to partake, opt for clear liquids, sugar-free mixers, and real fruit instead of the syrup. Tonic water, I wanted to point out here, tonic water is full of sugar. It doesn't taste like it, but is absolutely full of sugar. And I had no idea until it was pointed out to me, because I just loved tonic water. But again, look at the can, it's just full of sugar. So try not to have too much tonic water, and drinking lots of water, again, balance. And here's another tip that I wanted to get out to you. Something I found, I don't even know how I found it. It's these non-alcoholic distilled spirits. So the only one that I know of that I really like, and I've actually just ordered it, it's called Seedlip. So you can Google that. And they're distilled non-alcoholic spirits. And honestly, when you use them in a mix, you don't feel like you're missing alcohol at all. Wonderful product. I think they're from England, but they obviously ship here. And we were, you know, when we were allowed to be together a couple of summers ago, we were outside at a patio, and they had these Seedlip cocktails, and just delicious. I mean, people who were drinking had one, and they didn't know the difference. So you can look for these non-alcoholic things, obviously non-alcoholic beer they have, but just, you know, just go easy, just understand how much you're drinking, and don't feel pressured to drink. You know, that's another thing. Sometimes we feel when we're in a social setting where we should be drinking, we should be partaking. Don't feel pressured. It's you can still have a good time without alcohol. And you know, I say this often, you know, I should, you know, everyone else is having a drink, I'll just have a drink. No, you don't have to. You know, do you. This is a big thing I want you to get at, is you do you. Okay, so we just talked about sugar and alcohol. We're gonna hone in on it right now. Sugar is so sneaky, and it shows up in foods that you wouldn't expect. So I mentioned salad dressings and ketchups, but things like juices, so pressed juices, if they're fruit juices, granola bars, loaded in sugar. And according to the American Health Association, the maximum amount of added sugar, so we're not talking about sugar from fruits and vegetables, the maximum amount of added sugar you want is about 9 teaspoons for men and about 6 teaspoons for women. So I just want to give you a lowdown here. A can of Coke contains about 31 grams of sugar. So 9 teaspoons works out to about 37 grams for men, and 6 teaspoons, about 25 grams for women. You know, that'll vary depending on what site you look at, but pop, a can of Coke, is about 39 grams of sugar. So 1 can of Coke does it for the day for you. Things like orange juice. So pressed fruit juices have a lot of sugar. And when you're eating the whole fruit, you've got the fiber, which will stop the sugar from going into your blood system quickly. And spiking your blood sugar levels leads to inflammation, insulin resistance, a whole bunch of things. So do not have fresh pressed fruit juices. If you want a vegetable juice and you need to add a little bit of something, you know, half of an apple, a Granny Smith apple to sort of balance it, because some vegetable juices can be harsh, that's fine. But not all out apple juices, orange juices, stay away from those. A glass of orange juice is about 21 grams of sugar. So there you go, eh? That's an 8-ounce glass. How much sugar, you know, again, trying to balance this off can be difficult, but I just want to point out certain things to you. A flavored yogurt can have about, you know, between 17 and 30 grams of sugar. So buy plain yogurt and sweeten it yourself with a little bit of honey and your own fruit. Cup of Raisin Bran, I wrote this down here too. A cup of Raisin Bran has about 18 grams of sugar in it. So here we are thinking that we're eating bran and, you know, we're doing well for ourselves. Make sure you read the labels. That is going to come up, but sometimes these cereals that they don't seem sweet at all are loaded. Excess sugar is linked to type 2 diabetes and has been linked to many, many cancers. Keep a food journal, grab a pen, write down what you eat, and you'll really get a good outlay of how much sugar you're taking in every day. Okay, so here we are reading labels. It's an excellent time now to talk about reading labels. It's an art. It's something that you need to do. Again, this is something we could talk about in depth, but there are key things that you can do now to start understanding how to read labels. And there are labels in the produce section, and there are labels in the processed food section. But first off, when you're looking to buy something, look at the serving size. Something might seem very low in sugar and calories, but it could be because the serving size is too small. So for instance, you could be looking at a cookie that seems to be very low in sugar, you know, a package of cookies, oh, it seems to be very low in sugar, but they're talking about a half a cookie when they're giving you the sugar and the calories and all that. So take a look at the serving size. Start there. Take a look at the different names of sugar. So there is a multitude of different names, maltodextrin, all these things. These are all sugars. And finally, the more ingredients on a label, the farther it is away from moving into, the farther it is away from a whole food. And we're aiming for a whole food diet. So what I'm going to do, I'm not sure if I added it here at the end. I did write 2 blogs, one about reading nutrition labels and one about reading produce labels. And what I'm going to do is in the follow-up email, I'll send you the links for those 2 if you want to go further into how to read nutrition labels. But it does take some practice. But again, looking at those key things are you know, your way to start. Fiber and vitamins. So most people don't get enough fiber. I was talking about that when we were talking about fruits and vegetables. And a lot of people don't get enough A vitamin, C vitamin, calcium, or iron. So again, go back to looking at your labels, understand the fruits and vegetables. If you've got a diet that's really diverse in fruits and vegetables, you're likely getting towards where you need to be. I want you to aim for 30 to 40 grams of fiber a day. So you get fiber from fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, plants, basically, anything from plants. You don't get it from meat. So you need to have lots of fiber in your diet. And again, if you're doing a food journal, I know some people out there that I've worked with have done food journals. It's quite shocking the amount of fiber that most of us get in their day, and shocking on the low end. So fiber is important for colon health, for detoxification, for elimination, but it's essential for the health of your microbiome. And the microbiome is the viruses, the bacteria, what goes on inside, the little animals that are inside our gut. And again, we're not going to get into the microbiome right now, but this is central. The health of the microbiome is central to what I do and how I practice, because it's key to overall health. So fiber is essential in your diet. So including lots of fruits and vegetables, paying attention to the vitamins that they all have, important. And again, you know, if we need to supplement, there are lots of supplements out there that you can use. There are lots of great fiber supplements. We've come a long way from the chunky, gloopy ones. Lots of things that I can recommend if you're looking for a fiber supplement. And just do your research on fruits and vegetables and making sure you're getting a very rounded plate in front of you. All right, so I mentioned inflammation a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it here. Inflammation is our body's natural response to stress. We need it to heal. So inflammation in and of itself, acute inflammation, is it's great. We need it. So think about the redness and swelling that occurs if you cut your finger or you hurt your knee. So what happens is antibodies and proteins are released. Blood flow increases to the site of the damage, and the body will send sources and things to help repair it. This is acute inflammation. This is essential for our body to heal inside and out. The issue here that many people are battling, and is again linked to so many of the chronic diseases that we are seeing now. Like, chronic diseases are impactful in so many people's lives. From stress, from poor diet, from not exercising. And again, working to get that inflammation down is key. Chronic inflammation happens when this inflammatory process that I just talked about continues to percolate. So it doesn't stop. It's not acute, it's chronic. And what happens in a short space of explanation here, this chronic inflammation calls our immune system constantly into battle to try and rid itself of this chronic inflammation. And what it does is it leaves the inflammation basically tired and not on point to help battle other diseases. Chronic inflammation has been linked to heart disease, arthritis, cancer. It's just something that is pervasive, unfortunately, for many, many reasons. Inflammation can come from many different sources, but cutting down on sugar, eating a whole foods diet, managing stress, exercising, these are keys to battling inflammation, chronic inflammation. Okay. All right, nutrition basics. I talked about your plate. I just want to reiterate here. You want to keep your plate, again, we're going to small down the plate. We're going to dummy down the size a bit to try and get our portion controls under wraps here. You want to make it about 80% veggies, 20% meat or protein, whatever your protein is, if you are having a meat on your plate. So again, everybody's diet is different. Everybody needs different nutrients. So I don't opt for any particular diet. If you're going to hang me on something, I would say the Mediterranean diet is the best. It's definitely the most researched. But so I'm not a meat hater. The issue with meat, especially red meat, is research has shown that it can change not the consumption, what the microbiome is made out of. The microbiome, it's been shown, has to change to absorb meat, to break down meat. So having red meat often is not ideal. So make sure that that's not a huge portion of your diet. But again, there's nothing wrong with having a meat or a fish every once in a while, in my estimation. But you can, set aside a day, do a meatless Monday where everything is just veggies. Experiment with different non-meat proteins. There are tons of them out there. Add beans. Beans are wonderful, great fiber, great protein. Add tofu into your diet, making sure it's not the GMO, making sure it's organic tofu. Make sure that when you have when you break your fast, at whatever time that is in the morning, you're including a lot of protein. This should be the big protein meal of the day. Eggs, seeds, nuts, avocados are great. When we wake up in the morning, we have a sugar rush, and that's our body's way of getting us up and going. So having some protein helps to balance that out. Smoothies are awesome. And smoothies are like, for me, salads are the chewable form of a smoothie, and you can throw so many things in there. So make sure you salad it up or smoothie it up several times during the week. So many ways to incorporate so many good things into your diet by having these salads and smoothies. Make sure you're getting lots of water every day, at least 8 glasses. That's generally the research point out there. We could really get scientific and go on weight and everything, but stay hydrated. Make sure you have a good source of water. and stay motivated. So motivation is key for reaching your goals. So be positive. Give yourself a pat on the back when you've achieved some of these goals. And this is part and parcel of setting small goals. When you achieve some of your goals, recognize it. Give yourself a pat on the back. Always be looking to what you have done. Look forward. The only time you want to be looking back is to learn from it, okay? Nobody is perfect. Everybody has their side steps, and everybody has, as I said, their own journey. Set your goals mindfully so that you know you can have great things accomplished. And don't compare yourself to anybody else. You know, filling, the memory boards. A lot of kids, a lot of girls do the memory boards now. Fill your board with photographs and sayings that will help motivate you. Do it on your phone. If you're too macho to have it, shown somewhere, have a memory board on your phone. Go have a little album on your phone with pictures and sayings. I can do it. This is my goal. Continually have vision boards and ideas in front of you so that it helps you to come back to where you want to be. Always stay motivated. Sometimes it's difficult. Sidle up with someone who can help you. Share some of the difficulties, but always be mindful that you are working towards goals. And as you set goals, you're going to set more goals. So be positive in what you're trying to accomplish. And I tell you, one of the key areas of positivity is, again, having questions to ask and attaining more knowledge. So continue to research, continue to move on from here and acquire more knowledge. Now I want to focus, you can't talk about overall health without talking about, what's above your shoulders. To understand the connection between mental and physical health is to really get a systemic overall good health. And, within the last 10 years, the understanding of the connection between the mind and the rest of the body is profound. It encompasses our gut. It encompasses that physiological connection to our gut, and it encompasses the psychological and mental thoughts that we have. There is a two-way connection between the gut and the brain and the gut. And wonderful researchers like Perlmutter, both Austin and David, the father and son, are doing wonderful work on this brain-gut connection. What we think impacts the gut, and our gut impacts how we think. So, sometimes if our gut is not in good shape, it can really impact our mental health. So don't always be thinking that negative thoughts and your mind going into a place where you don't want it to be is always brought on by you, like your thoughts. Sometimes there's a physiological connection that we can work on to help mend the gut and improve mental health. When I'm working with cancer patients, especially those who are undergoing treatment, one of the things I hear so often is, I think I'm losing it. I can't remember anything. My brain is foggy. And it's almost like they feel like it's their fault. And it's not until I explain this physiological connection between the gut and the brain, and that there are ways and steps to help improve that this light goes off. And it's wonderful to see there are positive steps that we can take to improve our mental health. Eating well is going to be so important for your mental health. It really is. Focusing on gut health. We all get down every now and again. Make sure that you have that person that you can talk to. Make sure, you're journaling. These are all important things so that when you have one of those breaks, when you have a bad day, you can push back against them by looking at your successes, by, understanding that we can fortify mental health in other ways than just by trying to think our way out of it. It's a tough situation. And, especially where we are now, The mental health issue is, this is going to be a catastrophe that won't be documented until well through COVID. But it is so important for us to understand that we have a place in our mental health. It's not something that we don't have control of. We do control some of it. So physiologically, we can take control. Mentally, write things down, sidle up with, as I said, somebody that can help you out. Don't let negativity swim around in your brain. Get it out. It's important. And ways, again, to help you achieve your goals, to stay motivated, to boost your confidence is to love yourself and send some loving mantras out to yourself. You may find this a little odd at first because we are really not programmed to love ourselves, but there is nothing wrong with saying, today I'm going to get up and I'm going to see the good in every day. I'm going to see something good today, and I'm going to make something in my life good because I want to do it. Say, things like, I'm a good person and I'm working on goals, and I may fall off the bandwagon every now and again, but you know what? I've got a plan and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to stick with it. I can do it. Things like that. Again, we're talking here in the mental health space, and we're still programmed. I think our kids are going to be better at this, but we're still programmed to think that these things are silly. And everything I'm presenting here to you is well-researched. Talk to yourself positively. Create positive headspace. Put things on your phone that will make you smile, that will, maybe your background is, what, I'm good. Write it down on the, background of your phone. You wake up every morning and you say, hey, I'm good. Or, hey, don't forget to smile. Just these little notes of encouragement to help you throughout the day. Really important. Adding joy to your day. Again, I really focus on the mental health piece here because more and more in my practice, I'm seeing this, and more in my practice, I'm trying to figure out ways to help people. Add joy every day to your day. Make that one of your goals. It doesn't have to be a day at the spa. It could be, I'm sitting down by myself, I'm going to read the paper, and I'm going to have a cup of coffee, something I've not done. Make sure that you add joy. We can get into habits, and then the day becomes monotonous. And when we're at home all the time now, you're in your pajamas all day. You can have that sort of lull into sort of nothingness where every day is just monotonous. Make it a point. Maybe add this to your goal list. Find and add joy. It can be going for a walk. It can be picking up the phone and calling somebody. Whatever makes you smile, find it and add a bit of joy to your day. And dealing with stress. So there are, healthy ways and unhealthy ways to deal with stress. And it comes down to how you channel this negative energy that you have. Stress is there are some pieces of stress that are actually very healthful for the body. They alert the body, they get us going. So stress isn't always negative, but if we don't use it productively, if we don't figure out a way to use it and lose it, and it's channeled in an unhealthy fashion, this leads to a plethora of health issues. We can go as far as saying binge eating and alcohol, to things like this percolating chronic inflammation. Stress, the gut, inflammation, they're all connected, and we need to find ways to deal with stress. And that will be different for everybody. I had one person I was working with, and I said, how do you deal with your stress? He goes, I don't know. I said, what do you like? He goes, I like shooting like guns, going to the range. Go to the range. If that's what makes you happy, if that's what helps to alleviate your stress, do it. So you need to find your space to what helps you to alleviate stress. Is it talking to somebody? Is it writing things down? Is it exercising? Maybe this is where you marry the mind and the brain, and we see where the exercise piece comes in. Find creative outlets. Do you like to draw? Do you like to knit? Maybe get off the computer, or maybe get on the computer, play a computer game. How you channel stress is very, very important. Type in the chat and we'll deal with it after if you want. Ways that you can help, that you've found that help you with dealing stress, that you can share with others. It'd be great. All right, so laughter. Laughter is something that, again, science speaking, when I was doing my cancer program, my cancer coaching program, there was a huge segment on laughter yoga, and the importance of finding laughter in a day. Laughter decreases stress hormones. So if you want one way to channel your stress, laugh it off. And laughter yoga is actually, it's not laughing because of a joke. It's actually making yourself laugh. There are literally groups out there where you can go to laughter yoga and make yourself laugh. And then the laugh actually becomes contagious. It's actually an amazing process to watch. But laughter decreases our stress hormones and it actually increases our immune cells, which can help fight infection and so many other things. So include laughter in your day. It's a powerful medicine. Um, plant pictures around the house that always bring back a smile on your face. Watch a show, pick a show that you like, whatever makes you put a little smile on your face. But it doesn't happen a lot for some people, but that gut laugh is just so cathartic and it's so good. So, find a television show, read whatever makes you smile and laugh. Just try and include laughter into your day. It can be hard. It can be hard sometimes, but the actual practice, I find that this laughter yoga is, I've seen it and it's an incredible thing. Anyways, so getting that laughter going is very, very helpful. It's very, very good for your health, and it just makes you feel good. And self-care. So self-care is a term that gets thrown around a lot. Basically, you're here as a self-care, the start of your self-care program. It's an activity that we do. It's something that we do deliberately. It's not a happenstance. It's carving out something that we do to take care of ourselves. And again, this is something that can be, or will be different for everybody, but it helps us to refuel. It helps give us energy. It helps us face the day. And it is an active choice. It's an active choice. So this needs to be part of your health regime. Examples are things as simple as establishing a no list. I'm not going to do that. I'm no longer going to, say no sometimes. Saying no is very hard for some people, but that can be a key piece of self-care. Shut things off, work days now, the difference between a work day and home is blurred. The lines of where work ends and where home life starts have been completely blurred with staying at home so often. Maybe it's time now to make a solid, I'm shutting things off at 6 o'clock. That's it. This is my self-care. Embrace invitations that, before maybe you didn't want to, and turn away from invitations that you really don't want to do. Make sure you're following up with your medical care. Go to the dentist, go to your doctor, get your checkups. These are all self-love and self-care, and they're really important, again, to move your health to the right place. Don't put off your checkups. Start a nutritious diet. Work for you. If you are a caregiver, whether you're a mama, dad, a caregiver for somebody who's not well, if you're not fueled, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of somebody else. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is a necessity. And we need to get past this point that, we have to be completely altruistic and put ourselves last. Well, putting yourself last, honestly, is putting yourself not into your best you. So figure out ways for self-care. All right, so we're done with the slide presentation. So what I'm going to do is go out of the share. You can start typing in the chat if you have any questions. And I've got a few things actually that I wanted to clear up again. I'll just send it all in an email. So I hope that, again, we zipped through this. I'm finished with the presentation. You're hopefully just starting and you've had some good ideas and you've been inspired a little bit. If you have any other topics that you want to talk about, feel free to email me. What I'm going to do is stop sharing here and see if there are any questions. So now's the time. I know it was a lot of sort of stuff here, but I wanted to make sure that we got through the slides. Okay, so I've had lots of things here. Yeah, so writing down things, to-do lists, all a good way. Taking a probiotic when traveling, yeah, John, I do that all the time. Partake in an excellent brand of no alcoholic beer. Yep. And some of these things are amazing. You know, these alcohols, and drinks, you really don't feel like you're missing out. Thanks, Leo. You mentioned eating more beans, legumes. Are you concerned with the lectins? No, I'm not. Lectins are this, again, it's what lectins are a protector for the plants. Some people can have issues absorbing them. Generally speaking, this is one of those topics that I think has been taken to the nth degree. If you are a person that has an issue with lectins, soak your beans. This will help for the digestive process. Another thing you can do when you're cooking your beans is to add something called kombu, which is a sea vegetable, and that will help with the gas. But soaking nuts and soaking your beans can help remove the lectins. What the lectins are is a protectant for the plants. So if there's an insect or a bug that's going around, or it's bad weather, the lectins help to protect the plant. So some people do have an issue with lectins. So Mary, soak them, and that should alleviate all the problems. Oh, thanks, John. Oh, thanks. Any other questions, guys? You're welcome, Mary. So as I said, I will send out an email as a follow-up. So we've had a lot of people register for it that couldn't join us live. So I will send it out to everybody with just a little questionnaire, because as I said, I'm going to be moving ahead with a bunch of these things. So I want to figure out, the best time and everything. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I can let you go, and we're right within that 1 hour. I'll leave it a couple of seconds more. Any more questions that you have? Thanks, Mary. You're welcome. You're welcome. Everybody, make sure I will be sending out emails. I just wanted to let you know too, actually, that again, with health being so systemic, what I thought I might do is to give, what I might do, what I am doing is I am mid-February, so you'll be getting emails about this. I'm going to have a happiness challenge. So, we're lots of detox challenges, lots of things out there, but I'm going to push you on another space, and that's to create happiness. So you'll be getting emails about it. We're going to have a great Facebook group. Is there any way someone could watch if they couldn't be online today? Yeah. Okay. So, hey, my YouTube channel is almost ready. It will be going up on YouTube. Joanne, just, every once in a while, check in with me. I'll let you know when it is. I will be sending you the link, so you can certainly share that. Absolutely. Okay. Mom, smile. Smile. So yeah, I love the chat box. Yeah. So happiness challenge, would love to see you all in there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. Something different that I want to try and bring into this space. So I'm going to be doing, Leo, I'm going to be doing a whole bunch more of these. I've got about 10 of them set up in sort of this area. I have a lot of guest speakers that I'm going to be lining up to come on with me. I have one in the works with one of my absolute favorite guests on the Health Hub, Dr. Anna Yusim, and we're going to be talking about the mental space of healing. So she's a psychiatrist. So we are hopefully going to be able to get that together again. And I've got a lot more coming on more specific topics. So again, if you have anything that you really want to talk about, if you want me to put something together, no problem at all. This is a happy space here. I'm happy to do whatever you want. These things are just the joy of what I like to do, is to present and create and share this with you. So again, I'll send this all out. Any questions, just email me back. One thing I do want to add is that for some reason, so this isn't my regular email address that these emails are coming from. I've got a program that helps me send out emails to automate, and they go to people's junk a lot. So try and take this out of the junk space, or whatever you do to not make a junk email. So I apologize. I know a lot of people missed out. They were telling me because on some other things, because they just found it in their junk. So Yeah, so we'll be back. You'll have lots of leeway. I'm trying to give a 2-week sign up for everything. And if there's anything extra special that you want me to broach, I'm happy to. So look out for guests coming on here. That made a lot of great friends. So I want to bring them to you guys. Okay. And also, you know what, listen to the podcasts I've done, not for me, but for the wonderful guests I've had on. I've talked to, you know, people from all over the world on so many topics. So check out on my website, you can see all the wonderful guests that have been on the show and have a listen. Really a lot of wonderful people again out there. All right. So we'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you so much for joining us, and hope to see you on our next one. Take care, everyone.